friends, this is Miss Ann here at the Warminster Township Free Library, and welcome to our Fun Feats of Science class. Today we're going to be learning about animal homes. So let's first start with our main discussion. So what do animals need to survive? You can pause this video and have a conversation with your parents. We obviously marked off a few for you here today. Whenever you're ready, you can come back and we're going to discuss what do animals need to survive. So what do animals need to survive? They need water, food, shelter or a home. We talked about air, oxygen. They need to be able to breathe. The warmth of family, that kind of socio-emotional kind of help, as well as sun. We do need warmth from the sun. So why is having a shelter important? Well, it keeps us warm and safe, as we mentioned earlier. It protects against the weather, and different kinds of weather include rain and water, like flooding, snow, lightning, thunder, strong storms, wind, but also it protects us from the sun. It protects us, from the harmful rays of the sun. It also protects us from predators, so animals that could do us harm. Specifically, if you're thinking about other animals, we have the food chain, and so it helps against those. It also protects us from other dangers that might be out there, the elements and things like that. So what are the differences between a habitat and a shelter or a home? Well, a habitat is kind of like a bigger region. So we're going to talk about habitat first. A habitat is an area occupied by many different animals. So think of like the forest. The forest has lots of animals in it. It's got bears, it's got raccoons, it's got mice. Lots of animals live in a habitat. It's where an animal can make its home. So a home can be within a habitat, but a habitat is like that bigger area. It's where the animal has its best chance of survival. So it's where an animal is able to survive. It has access to food, water, shelter, all of that. And it is a place in nature that provides those things as well. So if we're thinking about that forest analogy, a bear is going to be able to find a place to live, food and water in the habitat it is meant to be in. Whereas if it was in someplace else, it might be too hot, it might be too cold, things like that. It's either the animal's going to find a suitable home in their habitat, or they'll be able to make one with the things around them. A home is within that habitat. It's where one animal or one animal species lives. So think about our homes. We live with our immediate family, maybe our siblings, maybe our parents, all in one house together. A home allows that animal to protect itself and its young from, weather or predators. It's where the animals live within that habitat. So habitat is kind of that bigger region with lots of animals, and then within that you will have the animal homes. So what sort of habitats have you heard of before? Think about that. Maybe you've heard of the forest habitats, and there's actually two types, and we'll talk about that in a second. Maybe a desert. You've heard of the desert, you've heard of ocean, tundra, and polar. They're different regions, they're different habitats, but they're both there. Rainforest, absolutely. So maybe you've heard of a few others. You can have that discussion with your grown-up. So these are a few of them, types of habitats. Well, let's see if you're able to guess them all. Maybe you did. So there's coniferous forests and deciduous forests. The only difference between that is whether or not those trees lose their leaves. Coniferous are like pine trees. They don't lose their leaves, and they don't lose their little needles. They stay on, and they look green year-round. Whereas a deciduous forest is mostly made up of trees that have leaves that fall in the autumn and come back in the spring. The mountain area, there's temperate grasslands, savanna, where you're going to have like the lions and the zebras and gazelles, polar ice. You'll see in this little demonstration here, you've got penguins. The tundra, the tropical rainforest, the hot deserts, the Mediterranean, all of those are different types. Let's see. And if we click on this, actually this takes you to a specific place which I'm going to show you. So this is called DK Finds Out, and this is where we got that image from, and it actually is really great, and we'll be linking this into the video because you can learn more about the different habitats that exist in our world. on Earth. So different kinds of habitats. If you're interested, you can learn a little bit more about hot desert or the tundra, what's the difference between a polar ice and tundra. So that's something to know. So now let's go back to the presentation. So let's talk about types of homes and shelters. What are some shelters and homes that you can think of? I gave you some examples, but maybe that'll help you kind of spur that discussion with your grown-up or your older siblings. Yeah, there's the bird's nest, like a hollowed out tree might be a good place for like a raccoon or owls to live in, a cave for our bears and maybe our bats. And of course burrows. Burrows are good for like badgers, but also specifically for bunnies, they call them a warren. So, you know, there are different types of little homes for these animals within their habitats. And then maybe you can think of other homes that animals, you know, have used, or even think about your own home. These are great because it helps us with our next portion, which is our activity. So the activity, you'll take out your kit at this time, and I'm going to show you where we got our activity. So our activity, move that up there. Our activity comes from Buggy and Buddy. It's a website, and this one's the sun shelter. So creating a STEM challenge. It's building a shelter from the sun to test specifically UV sensitive beads. So what you're going to do is you will use these sensitive beads and put it on the pipe cleaner. Maybe you can try to create this little lizard here if you want to attempt that on your own. Or perhaps you can just coil it up together and just put the beads on, and it can look like a snake. Maybe that's what the animal you want to do. All you have to do is kind of wrap the pipe cleaner around your finger and then make sure that you add the beads. And that'll be your creature that's representing an animal that lives in a habitat, and you're going to build a home for that. That's going to protect it from predators, protect it from the sun, protect it from the weather. And then when you're done, test it. Bring it outside. See if your animal changes color. If it does, it means that it's getting a lot of sun, and maybe your shelter needs to be tweaked or redesigned. So you can build your shelter at your own home, and we will link to this site as well with this video. We hope that you guys enjoyed this little video, and we hope that you guys will be able to learn a lot more by exploring the resources that we provided. Until next time, we'll be learning about owls and owl pellets. So we hope that you guys will sign up for that one, though we probably will not have a separate video for that one, just because we only have 19 kits to give out. So hopefully you guys will tune in for that class. And that is in October, so you can go onto our website. As always, we hope to see you guys very soon at the Warminster Township Free Library.